What is going on? My name is Alan and welcome to my Overwatch tutorial videos, I guess. This is going to be a new series that I'm starting. It's going to cover different topics. I get a lot of questions about, how to carry, what heroes to pick, different things like that, how to get out of elo hell, all these different things, and I'm going to try and do my best and explain how to do that and the ways that I've used. Now, different people, different methods and whatnot, but these have been the best methods that I have found. And today we're going to talk about what heroes you can carry with. Now, I am a very strong supporter of the fact that you cannot carry in Overwatch if you're playing it right, so this is going to be more geared towards the solo queue and kind of the better way to basically get more value out of characters. And the first thing I want to say is DPS will not carry you. There's one kind of exception, but for the most part, they will not carry you. You have to have follow-up damage. You have to have, healing and all these other things. So, one, pretty much every DPS character is squishy. Two, almost all of them don't have real self-healing besides Soldier. I know that, Tracer can self-heal with her reverse, but that doesn't help you if you've already been injured, and it is a big thing with that. Reaper requires a lot of people dying on the other team, which, if you're trying to carry, I'm going to assume that not a lot of people are dying, therefore not very useful. So Soldier's kind of the exception to that, but he is like the last resort. Do not try and main him to try and carry. I will tell you, however, 4 characters that you can try. And those are going to be Reinhardt, Winston, Ana, and Lucio. Now let's kind of dive into why they're good carry picks. Reinhardt is really good to help your DPS thrive. Soldier, McCree, a Widowmaker, a Hanzo, a Roadhog. Basically everyone is behind you. You're that barrier there. You're keeping them alive. Keeping them from taking damage, keeping them from feeding ultimates. So it's super important to play him well, learn his timings. Don't just dive into things and hope things die. Learn when to use your fire strike. Learn when to use your pin. It's very important with timing with him. Now the second one's going to be Winston. Again, timing is so important with Winston. Now these two are interchangeable because if, let's say you have McCree, Soldier, people who need something to stand behind, Reinhardt is a great pick. And I would go with him most of the time. I generally don't use him on King of the Hill, but you can try it. But let's say you've got a lot of people who don't need to stand behind a shield. A Genji, a Pharah, a Reaper at times. You can use Reaper in the death ball, but a lot of times in solo queue he'll run around, do what he wants. So, characters like that go places, don't necessarily need a shield. Winston's great for that because he can jump into enemy lines, pop down a shield, separate the team, create a bunch of space. Does a decent bit of damage as well. Now, covering the healers, Ana, because she is probably the best healer in as far as healing potential. If you're accurate and you can land your shots, you're going to get a ton of value out of her. Her sleep dart's really good, her nano's really good, even post-nerf. Her grenade's really good. There's so much value to be had there. So if you learn to play her and play her well, and can get some kind of team around, playing her, nanoing a Reinhardt, nanoing a Reaper, even after the nerf, those are still really useful plays. And the fourth one I'm going to cover is Lucio. He's an AoE healer, obviously very useful. However, you should be using his speed boost more than his healing, just because it's so useful to get through choke points. And if you have an Ana on your team, she nano someone, you speed boost them, all of a sudden it's basically old school nano. So it's just so useful to have her and him. Those are the 4 characters I would say are the best for learning to carry. Like I mentioned earlier, Soldier, throw him in there. And there's there's two situational carry heroes that I thought of, and both of those are going to be tanks. Well, kind of. Zarya and Roadhog are the situational ones. What I mean by situational is there are main tanks and there are off tanks. Your main tanks are pretty much Winston and Reinhardt. Like, those are the two main ones. So if you see someone going D.Va or Zarya or Roadhog, whatever, pick the main tank, be that main tank role. But the situational ones are the off tanks. I feel that you get more value out of them rather than a secondary healer, just because Ana and Lucio are really the only two healers that are viable in high levels of competition, because Mercy can't get away. Zen isn't a super great healer. He's good for, again, situations, but you're not going to carry with either one of them. Zarya, she has high DPS potential, but also her bubble shields are incredibly good, her graviton's good, but she will not carry because she requires so much teamwork. So keep that in mind. If you have someone go Ryan or Winston, go ahead and throw in that Zarya pick, or throw in that Roadhog pick. Roadhog is more of a DPS than he's a tank, but he can one-shot squishies, he can heal himself, so there's value there to be had. And that's really all I have for how to carry as or what hero to pick to carry. I'll be doing more of these videos, different topics, maybe like how to be a good teammate, how to avoid toxicity, how to counter pick, things like that. If you guys think of anything, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to cover that for you. And that's all I have for you guys today.